Actyon. Any car that references the Priscilla, Queen of the Desert version of I Love the Nightlife by Alicia Bridges grabs my attention. But does the KGM Actyon by the car maker formerly known as SsangYong and before that Donga Motor deserve your attention if you're in the market for a medium SUV like the Toyota RAV4, Hyundai Tucson, Kia Sportage and Mitsubishi Outlander? My name is Byron Matthew Darkis for CarsGuide.com.au and I'm here to get down on it and boogie with the KGM Actyon. Let's go. If you appreciate an underdog, you'll love the Actyon because it's a small fish playing in the big league. So to combat that, KGM has equipped even the base K50 with heaps of equipment. Kicking off from $47,000 drive away, even the entry-level grade includes unexpected little luxuries like quilted leather upholstery, fully heated and ventilated front seats, rear privacy glass, a heated steering wheel, multicoloured ambient lighting, automatic walkaway central locking, a power tailgate with kick motion sensors, and 20-inch alloy wheels. Plus, you'll find a space-saver spare wheel, which rural Australian drivers will certainly thank KGM for. These come on top of most of the expected modern items, like climate control, twin electronic displays, Apple CarPlay/Android Auto, a reverse camera, and parking sensors all round, as well as a long list of advanced driver assist safety gear like autonomous emergency braking, lane support systems, and adaptive cruise control. For an extra $3K, the K60 version adds a 360-degree camera, a panoramic sunroof with a solid shade, rear door blinds, and a wireless phone charger. But right now you can't buy an Actyon with head-up instrumentation display, a digital radio, wireless connectivity for CarPlay/Android Auto, or the option of a hybrid powertrain or all-wheel drive. Still, from a value perspective, that's a lot of kit for the cash. Even the more expensive Actyon only buys you the basic RAV4 GX hybrid or mid-grade versions of popular front-wheel drive alternatives like the Outlander, Sportage, Tucson and Nissan X-Trail. KGM currently sells no fewer than 3 medium-sized SUVs of roughly similar dimensions. There's the Corando, introduced in Australia in 2020, the bigger Torres released last year, and of course this car. And though all sit on variations of the same monocoque body platform, the Actyon benefits from additional development under KGM ownership. KGM claim that the 2005 SsangYong Actyon, the original car to wear this name, was the world's first coupe SUV, beating the BMW X6 to market by 3 years. Now, in the same way as the X5 and the X6 are related, this is the coupe version of the recently released KGM Torres, though this is a little bit longer, a little bit wider and a little bit shorter to give it that coupe look. Now, the nose is very Range Rover-esque, I think, though it does also grab a few nice touches, namely these handles on the bonnet, which may not be to everyone's taste, but I think it gives the car a distinctive look, as well as a grille LED lighting motif that represents the Korean flag. Moving over to the profile or the side view, the only coupe aspect of this is the fact that it, besides being a little bit lower than the Taurus, is this very thick pillar, which does block vision when you're reversing, by the way. But other than that, these large 20-inch wheels fill out the arches nicely. It's got that kind of squarish Jeep-like element with the wheel arches. This is a nod to the 80s with having a different coloured trim panel down there. While moving around the back, you can really see the Range Rover influences as well as the latest Jeep Grand Cherokee. I think it's one of the best looking SsangYongs, and I know that's faint praise because a lot of SsangYongs in the past have been really fugly, but now as a KGM, I think the styling has come together really well, making this a distinctive and nicely proportioned family SUV. Also, it's a bit larger than your regular medium SUV like a RAV4, and that certainly pays dividends when you step inside, so let's check that out. Now, inside is where the Actyon really gets into its groove, and it's immediately obvious that A, this is a Korean car, B, they've been influenced by Kia and Hyundai in terms of design and presentation, and C, they've just jam-packed this with value for money equipment and that sort of thing. Let's begin with the obvious stuff, and that is this is extremely spacious. It's quite a wide medium-sized SUV. It's over 1.9 meters wide, and that manifests itself in lots of shoulder room, heaps of leg room, lots of adjustability, and an excellent driving position, aided by this quite lovely Quartic steering wheel. So it's kind of square, it looks good, it feels good to the touch. It's just the right amount of girth for the rim, and yeah, it's great. It reminds me of a BMW steering wheel actually, and so does the instrumentation. The digital instrumentation has that BMW kind of angular graphic look, which isn't pretty, but it kind of helps with this car's quite upmarket aspirations, because it does feel upmarket in here. There's heaps of ambient lighting with options, and these seats are sumptuous. They are really good. They feature a lot of support over long distances, and you just kind of meld into them. You get heated and vented seat bases and backrests as well, which is another bonus. Excellent vision, aided by the deep windows, the mirrors, and the large touchscreen. Now the touchscreen, it's two screens squished together as one, and they provide all the information you could possibly want. I've got to say that even though there aren't physical buttons, or that many physical buttons here, the way that SsangYong has created this means that you're only one swipe away from everything you need. And that means that even though you have to go into the menu to change the drive settings, for instance, you just kind of swipe down and then you've got the drive modes. That's an important distinction between this and quite a lot of other software-based systems. Also, there's a favorites button down here, and that can be changed and configured. So for instance, if you want the drive settings to be in there, or if you want, I don't know, whatever setting, the radio settings or the multimedia settings or whatever you like, that's a fast access key. About the only negative thing is, from a driver's perspective, I think, is the blind spot created by that thick blacked out C-pillar, which is meant to give this car that coupe look. It means that you're completely really relying on the camera and the mirrors when you're reversing, because you've got this just massive blind spot. But generally, it's all here. All the amenities, dual USB-A ports, cup holders, the works. It's really good. Oh, I just want to point out though, I don't like the fiddly drive select system. Selecting reverse and drive, especially when you're in a hurry, can be a hit and miss affair. I completely keep getting caught out by that, and it really annoys me. Moving out the back, well, this is where this car really goes above and beyond. So let's check out the rear. Now, if you're impressed with the front, your mind may be blown with the rear seat area, because, well, all expected amenities are present, including the ubiquitous folding armrest with cup holder. And by the way, that's one of the most solidly engineered armrests in any car I've driven, including in BMWs and Mercedes-Benzes. You get map pockets, face level air vents, USB ports, reclining backrests, heated seats, blinds for the windows, a holder behind the front headrest for tablets, a special pocket for mobile phones in the map pockets, a front passenger seat that you can adjust from the rear seat if you need more leg room, or if you need that to be folded forward, and the world's deepest door pockets. You can fit a 1.5 litre water bottle over here, and a sleep mode, so the driver can cut the speakers out the back if you've got kids, or someone having a nap while driving along, while still being able to listen to music up front. All these collectively make this one of the best equipped SUVs for the money, and certainly it adds to the valiant quotient. And that's not even taking in how much luggage space you get further back. So let's check that out. If cargo capacity is your priority, then the Actyon certainly delivers, because check this out. There is so much space in here that you can fit dozens of these briefcases probably. Anyway, underneath this wide flat floor, you will find a temporary spare wheel, and a colourful one at that, as well as various plugs for securing down luggage and plugging things in. There's a light and that sort of thing. However, you don't get a cargo cover to hide all your valuables, which is a little bit disappointing. But you know where else there's a lot of space? Underneath the bonnet, and I'll tell you why now, so join me, won't you? It may be diminutive, but this compact little number punches well above its weight when you take in its capacity, outputs and general size. A familiar unit if you're an existing Corando or Taurus driver, it is a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine driving the front wheels only at this stage via a 6-speed torque converter auto supplied by Toyota. With a power to weight ratio of nearly 73 kilowatts per tonne, it falls behind the larger capacity 2.5 litre non-turbo alternatives as found in the Mazda CX-5, Nissan X-Trail and Mitsubishi Outlander petrols, but matches rival 2 litre non-turbo units like the Sportage and Tucson. The KGM also follows class convention in its double wishbone front and multi-link independent rear suspension setup, though it does boast higher than usual ground clearances for a front-wheel drive medium SUV that's resolutely a non-off-roader. Which means it's time to see how the Actyon performs on-road. You won't be surprised to learn that this is the best driving KGM I've ever had, because it's the first real KGM. But what might come as a surprise is that this is by far the best SsangYong I've ever been behind the wheel of, and there are many reasons for that. Let's start with the engine. Initial acceleration is a little bit laggy because there's a big turbo spooling a small capacity engine, but once you get over that, it's sprightly and the power just keeps piling on. It's one of those sort of kind of engines that punch above its weight. Responses are instant, and it is a very linear kind of power progression. So it basically feels like a 2 or 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine. So that's a good thing. It does get a little bit flummoxed if you've got a bit of a load in the car and you're going up a hill, or you just need to accelerate and stop start traffic, because it does hunt a bit, but generally it's fine, and for most driving conditions it'll feel perfect. I also want to commend the steering. The steering is far and away the best I've ever experienced in a SsangYong or KGM vehicle. It's obviously set up to feel a bit sporty, which means that it's direct and responsive, but it's also light. So it's light around town, it's easy to maneuver, and I don't think people will complain. Yet it weighs up nicely at speed, so you feel connected to the front wheels. This is a front wheel drive, so there's plenty of feedback and there's good amount of grip as well. So once you are out, say on a mountain road, or you're driving fast on the highway, it does feel secure and confident. It's confident inducing. Also, the brakes, they perform really well too. They're not too sensitive, and they stop really well when you need them to. However, I want to talk about the ride quality, because we're on a smooth road now and it feels fine, and we're not jolting around, and it's good. But once you go onto a bumpy road, or you're just driving on suburban railway lines or tram tracks or that sort of thing, it does feel unsettled and a bit busy. It's a bit jolty. The ride is firm, and you're aware that the suspension is working underneath you. There's a fair degree of body roll as well if you're driving this fast on a mountain road, but again, it's a family SUV, so it's not too bad. I would like a little bit more oomph from the 1.5 if you're hauling your family around constantly in them, and you've got that massive cargo area full of stuff. And I would like also a little bit more compliance in the ride, but this is a surprisingly involving and fun car to drive. I wasn't expecting that. Like, the old SsangYongs were the opposite of that. This is a really pleasing car that is set up for keener drivers, and I'm really grateful. So I wasn't expecting that, and I think it holds this car in really good stead. But without even mild hybrid style electrification to help improve efficiency, how does the Actyon perform in the fuel consumption stakes? Well, it returns a combined average of 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres, which isn't too bad, but it requires 95 RON premium unleaded petrol, so it drinks from the expensive Bowser. So much for the theory. During our time with the Actyon, we recorded a disappointing 10.3 litres per 100 kilometres, though it's worth keeping in mind that this included performance testing, which tends to drain the tank a little bit faster. And speaking of challenging conditions, how does the KGM newcomer behave in independent crash testing? Actually, we can't tell you, because at the time of recording, none have been released, so there's no ANCAP rating to speak of. But the KGM does look like it can deliver the goods, offering a host of advanced driver assist safety systems, including AEB, blind spot warning, lane keep assist, and rear cross traffic alert. And, joy of joys, it's worth remembering that this technology is mercifully unintrusive in most scenarios, only really making its interferences felt with certain unwelcome lane keep assist wheel tugging and drowsy driver alert overzealousness. 8 airbags are also fitted. You'll find out more on Actyon safety in my written review at carsguide.com.au, so check that out as well. So no ANCAP rating just yet, but you at least get the peace of mind of a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, as well as 5 years of roadside assistance, which is better than most rivals in 2025. Service intervals are at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, with alternating cap pricing of $338 or $442 per annum for the duration of the warranty period. With such a competitive after-sales program, KGM is gunning for a firmer foothold in the most fiercely fought family SUV segment in Australia. But is it enough to spur you into Actyon? It should be. Bold styling, keen pricing, a spacious interior, a beautifully finished cabin, and an involving driving experience means the new KGM is everything the old SsangYong was not. But a bit more torque, a little less thirst, and a softer ride would make a surprisingly good family-friendly medium SUV a real crowd pleaser. Don't forget, you can read my full review at carsguide.com.au, and as always, thanks for watching.